Hi, this is Joe's Corner 76. I'll be commenting on issues that affect the human condition. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Joe's Corner 76. You can hear me on Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor FM, Apple Podcast, and YouTube at Joe's Corner 76. To change the human condition, we need to be engaged. I would love to hear from you. Men's mental health, a silent crisis. Men in mental health. It's been called a silent crisis, a sleeper. There are some signs that this sleeper is at last wakening, and light is being shed on men's mental health. Do you know men or boys who have or have had mental health issues and depression? If you're concerned about creating a healthier future for men and boys, explore some information with me. I want to see if we can start a conversation about this crisis and what to do about it. What does society say to men who have issues such as sadness, hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, and depression? Men are embarrassed with these feelings, and all society has to offer is, suck it up, be a man. So they suffer in silence, and this takes a huge toll on them physically and mentally, and this can lead to suicide. It has been argued that men are demonized in many areas of society, which leads to a gender empathy gap. This means, in general, there is more empathy for women and children than men. We have to change this, make sure this problem gets into the media and into public consciousness. There is strong evidence that men have higher rates of various mental health issues than women. Some facts to show the extent of mental illness among men. Studies show some new fathers are subject to postnatal depression. Statistically, one of the biggest things killing men is men themselves. Suicide is the leading cause of death among men between 40 to 60 in Canada. Men's mental health issues remain sidelined by stigma, despite men being 75% of all Canada's suicides. Globally, one man dies of suicide every minute of every day. In a 2017 survey by Men's Health, it showed 56% of those responding had considered suicide. Our culture says men have to be tough and strong. Weakness is not considered masculine, so many men consider it weak to admit depression. This code prevents many men from seeking help. Women recognize illness easier and are more likely to go to the doctor. Men often repress their symptoms and don't go. Many psychiatrists believe that health symptoms in men, such as headache, migraine headaches, irritable bowel syndrome, and other digestive disorders are related to depression. The effect of this masked depression can be devastating. Men often act out their depression in forms of hostility, verbal violence, abusive drinking to excess, and womanizing. Men's focus on competition and feeling powerful can be adversely affected by unemployment and women in the workplace. Unemployment and their loss of their roles as breadwinner is a difficult experience, leaving many men without a sense of purpose or pride. 50% of marriages end in divorce. Many men have a negative experience in the courts. Data shows only 1 in 6 men have custody of their children, and many have minimal visiting rights. If there is a complete severance of the relationship, they may become suicidal. Physical illness, in particular, a life-threatening illness, can trigger depression since it impacts a man's sense of strength and status. Substance abuse is associated with mental illness, and excessive use of drugs and alcohol can be used to mask depression and mental illness. What are some of the signs of depression that can lead to mental disorders that might alert you and your family and friends? Lack of interest in activities, change in sleep patterns, changes in appetite, feelings of guilt or despair, lack of energy, trouble concentrating, suicidal thoughts. What can be done about mental illness among men? A low priority is given to men's health in the research community, including mental health. Providing more funding and specialists will encourage ongoing research into men's mental health issues. Women tend to band together to work on health-related problems. Men don't want to do this. Society at all levels has to stop the gender bias towards men. The code we now have is that men have to be tough, strong, and self-reliant and not complain. They feel it shows weakness to admit depression. They don't feel they are susceptible to depression. Not admitting these feelings can lead to undiagnosed mental issues. The results can be risky behavior, substance abuse, and violence. We need more data on men's health so the depth of knowledge approaches women's health. There must be a needs-based approach to health rather than a gender-based approach. We need to raise awareness about vulnerability to depression as a rising trend. It may help in reducing the stigma attached to mental health. To change the dynamics and approach to men's health, we need to have promotional campaigns, websites, journals, and networking campaigns towards men and their mental health awareness. Let's all break the silence that has long surrounded men's mental health. Help raise the awareness of men's mental health so it gets the same attention and research that women's mental health does. Remember, it can strike any one of us.